Well, summer is in full swing in the Jenkins household. Yep. I assume that the kids are out of school for the summer. And Stephanie made a post on FB, and it looks like she's got a summer full of fun activities planned for these kids. Here was their first activity of the summer. See this? Yeah. She had these kids. Now, unless they brought this up and it was their idea to do it. I don't know. But she had them picking rocks. Plain old rocks, gravel. Usually these are used for like landscaping. I'm assuming that she probably had them doing this around the shelter in this area, which she describes as sketch, where we've seen needle caps get swept up. And these kids, she's having these kids dig through what? Digging through cigarette butts, baggies, paraphernalia, who knows what, to pick these rocks. And I assume she did this because she made another post talking about how she used to have quite the rock and seashell collection. And she'd like to get back to that. So, now she's going to have these kids doing this. And then I assume this is an activity she set up for them because in what I showed you here, she said, they're showing the rock that reminds them of their dad. Huh? Maybe I'm just not that deep of a thinker, but if someone said, now show me the rock that reminds you of your dad, I would look at them and be like, what are you talking about? But, Stephanie's, her mind works differently than a lot of people. And, we've seen her numerous times push the stroller. Oh, I forgot the stroller got stolen. But we have seen her. There's some, maybe like a football field or something close to the shelter because she has walked there before. It had the bleachers and the track she was walking around. I mean, why didn't she take the kids there? They could have took that bubble gun. Remember last year when she said the gun that she had saved the $20 gun she had saved for a year to get for them, and took some footballs, basketballs, soccer balls, whatever, and they could have ran around and played with that in this field. But no, we're in the parking lot picking up rocks. I don't get it. And getting on public transportation just is not an option for her. She's too bougie for that. Miss Thompson will never get on public transportation. Oh no, she's too good for that. I fear that these kids if this is any indication of what their summer is going to look like, I'm so sad for those kids. You remember last year, those kids barely got outside to play. She'd have them in the shelter room until dusk because it's just too hot during the day. Sure, for you, when I was a kid, and when my kids were kids, the heat didn't bother them. It didn't bother me when I was a kid. I could play outside all day long in 90-degree weather. Below zero weather, I could play out there for hours because when you're a kid, you don't seem to feel it as much. You just want to get out and play. But she keeps them cooped up all day, and I'm especially now that they got this new air conditioner, that portable unit thing. I can only assume I can just imagine she's going to keep them in there, in that room all day until dusk again, until it's cool enough for her to go outside, until it's comfortable enough for her to go out there. Putting herself first, as always. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off base. Like I said, maybe the kids said, hey, Mom, let's choose some rocks. Let's look for pretty rocks. But I don't get it. I mean, they're not even like the pretty polished rocks, polished, colorful rocks. Not even fool's gold, nothing. Do they even have it? Can you even find fool's gold anymore? Somebody let me know about that, because we love doing that. I will say we did like doing that when we were kids, looking for fool's gold. But I don't know. I think that she came up with this idea, and in her mind, this was just a great activity for these kids. Look at me. I planned an activity for my kids. We're picking rocks out of the parking lot. Ooh-wee. And then, she's going to take these rocks. They each got a handful. They're going to take them into the shelter room. And you see how them kids they don't put nothing away. When she's cleaning the room, you see, they just leave wrapper, wherever they're done with something, they just drop it on the ground. So, they're going to drop these rocks all over the ground. You got Atlas and Manova, who never have shoes on their feet. They're going to be running around in the room, as toddlers do. They're going to step on these rocks, and somebody's going to get hurt. But this is just a great idea of hers again. And of course I got to read the comments. I go through the comments, and somebody says, and I fear that she's going to see this comment and go and do it and try to do this. They said, why doesn't she buy, what do you call it, a polisher or something, and start making jewelry out of these rocks? Instead of looking for rocks, she needs to be looking for a job. And can you imagine if she does buy a polisher and tries to make jewelry out of this stuff? Because that would be something Stephanie would do. She cannot save money. Money burns a hole in that woman's pocket. I mean, a year and a half and you have zero savings? Come on now. I don't know. And what are people thinking making these kind of suggestions? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Am I being too petty with this one? I mean, do you think it was a fun activity for the kids? I mean, like I said, it probably occupied them for all of 5 minutes. But maybe I'm just being too petty. Maybe I'm just bitchy today. I don't know. But I don't see that this was a super fun activity for these kids. And if it's going to be this low effort, then we have a problem. Let me know your thoughts.